G'day guys, welcome back to Fading Margins. Well, today, as promised, I'm going to talk about my Swiss Army knives, my EDC plus if you like. Start at the bottom. This is my climber. This is the baby I take when I go abroad. I don't know if I'm going, obviously I'm going walking in Sweden, I'll take something else, but in addition, the climber is for urban EDC. It's more than ample for what I need, and it as a sort of standby. And frankly, if I'm really honest, it's cheap enough to replace. And I leave it in red because I don't want to get emotionally attached to it in case some apparatchik decides that they're going to confiscate it. But great little tool, and I wouldn't be without it. Then we come to the two. I want to talk about this one last. We come to the two. These are wide ricochet sheaths or pouches. In terms of my usual EDC, I'll usually go for the Swiss Champ every time, and that's simply because of a just-in-case mentality. It's like, well, you know, if I have a big splinter in my hand, then I can use the pliers like a tweezers and that sort of thing. And so I put up with the weight. Although I must say, I do find carrying it around on the belt every day, day in, day out. There are days when I think I just had enough. I'm just tired. It's got a ferrocerium rod there, and courtesy of my mate Jack from Montana, it's got a ferrocerium rod here, and some a little like a little tinder bundle thing. I will use that one of these days in a video to show you how you go about that. I don't think there's very many more modifications. I haven't changed anything here. And so she's pretty well bog standard. But this, I've had this for years. I bought this in Mannheim in Germany many years ago. It's got to be going on nearly 20 years ago, I thought. My wife went to Kyrgyzstan with a development organization. They gave her a packing list. I took one look at it. I said, that won't do. So I rewrote the packing list and I sent it with this. It came back safe and sound, and it did good service for opening bottles, various other bits and pieces. It's been back to Victorinox to be repaired after many summer holidays in the glove box. That liner was wearing out, started to get deformed. Corkscrew wasn't performing up to standard, so we sent it back and they repaired it. Fantastic. When this thing wears on me for sheer bulk, this was, I think, a few years ago, my preferred carrier. This is the Ranger, and it's basically a huntsman with a file, or if you like, it's a climber with a saw and a file. Now, people will tell you that the file, oh well, you know, the saws everybody knows about. People will tell you the files, oh well, did you see, the thing is they don't temper them hard enough to do this or that. Well, that's true, strictly speaking. But I can tell you, if you turn the edge of an axe, and I've done this, you know, you hit something like there's a rock embedded in the piece of wood you're cutting that you haven't seen or something like that, and it just dinks it. This is enough to sort that out. Things like tomahawks, unless you're right at the top end of the market, most of these tomahawks we all buy and play with are really, this will handle that. It's a great nail file. It'll handle small nails and screws and other bits and pieces, so it's worth having. I can remember I was using it the other day for cutting something off, but for the life of me I can't remember what it was. So it is worth having. So this is what I resort to now when I don't want to carry that for the weight of it. And so these two just reside on my belt, and they're called into duty as and when. I mean, there have been occasions when my traditional pocket knife is not present for one reason or another, and then I use these. Generally it's for the tools, but they're always kept sharp and well serviced so that they're ready to go when I'm ready to go. Then finally, the Huntsman. Now when I go walking or hiking, one or two things will happen. Generally, I don't wear a heavy leather belt because I'm wearing a hip belt on the. I've got a hip belt on the pack, so it doesn't really work. So, which means I can't carry a big pouch knife. The Huntsman, I think, is the sweet spot. It is as big as you're going to get. It's 4 layers, as big as you'll get in a pocket comfortably. So sometimes it rides in the pocket. Very often it'll ride in one of the hip belt pockets of my backpack. And again, it's got one modification, which I owe to a guy called Kev Barris. I think that's right. And he owes it to Ray Mears. And that is, you take a file to this edge in here on the cap lifter, and that provides a really first-class striker for your ferrocerium rod. And I know somebody's going to say, "Oh well, you just pull out the saw, and use it this way," which of course you can. That's a technique I learnt watching Felix Imler, but there's nothing wrong with that. But in this case, I've got 2 options. Curiously, this one still has the toothpick, so I need to do something about that, especially as this one tends to be the one that goes for the ride. Certainly went for the walk the other day. Okay, I'm going to pause for a minute now, and I think we're going to give this one a bit of a clean up. So we'll get no pin. Pin is MIA. I've never understood why Victorinox do that. Why they don't put the nail nick on the opposite side. Okay. And you're asking why am I doing it this way? Well, I'm doing it this way because it avoids having the blades open while I'm trying to open everything else. Right. So you have a look in there. It's not bad. I'm pretty fastidious. But paintbrush. Okay. Get the saw out of the way. Again. So it's nice and clean in there now. And I'm a ballistol kind of guy. My youngest son refers to it as aftershave with a hint of feet. I'll give it a bit of that in there. Then I've got a dedicated oily rag. Okay, and then we can just start closing her up. The oil will work its way around. The only time I don't use ballistol, the only time I won't use ballistol is if the knife is actually wet. If the knife is actually wet, what I find is you're better off using WD-40 to drive out the water, and then once you've done that, then you can clean it off and use the ballistol. My experience is that ballistol does not like water very much. It kind of goes all milky white and horrible. But as a servicing oil, I like it very much. So there's no need to. I don't. These are all stainless, so I mean, it's a little bit of oil on that blade. There's oil on my fingers. So a little bit of oil on the blade there. Similarly here, get that one, bit of that, and then finally this one here. Like that. Finish off. Remove the extra tools. Oh, I forgot to mention the pen. The number of times I've been, these pens have saved my bacon. Go to the post office. You want to post off a, the XYZ giveaway or whatever it is you're doing. You haven't got a pen. You've got to buy the bag before you can post it. Bam, Swiss Army knife, quality writing implement right there. And of course, for those of you who don't know, the parcel hook. That is what the parcel hook is for, really. I think it's not really a parcel hook. I think I've run out of fingernail there. It's actually, if you're careful, there we go. It's an anchor for your pen. Boom. Like that. And that works great. So, I always like to check them, make sure everything's okay. If I was going full Monty here, I'm going to change that now. So that's the toothpick on there. So we'll swap that out with the Ranger, because this tends to be the knife I carry. If I can get it in there. Oh, that's a squeeze, that is. Don't go in there. If you're watching this, don't pay any attention to Steve. He doesn't know what he's talking about. No, seriously. So there we go. That's going around the right way now. Right, so we're nearly done. Pop that back on. Then for actual joints, this is what I like. I would buy something else if I could find something that was as good and was cheaper, but I haven't located anything. It's very, very thick. It doesn't need much. Just a drop in there and in there and in there. And you got a choice then. You can either manipulate the blades yourself, or you can let nature and gravity do its job. Right, well, yeah, and then a final wipe. And she's good as gold. Right, well, I'm not going to keep you guys and bore you senseless with endless repetition of the same process. If it was really dirty or you got blood in it or something like that, then my approach would be different. My approach then would be off with the handle scales, covers, and into warm soapy water, give it a proper bath, and go from there. But there they are. That's my EDC these days, for my Victorinox EDC station. And this is Stephen Fading Margins, as always, wishing you every blessing, and I will catch up with you next time. Signing out for now. Bye bye.